Reading 1, Do Gun Buybacks Reduce Gun Violence by Hank Callett. Critics of the gun buyback program say there is no evidence that buybacks reduce gun violence and that the money spent on the programs could be put to better use. Supporters, who include law enforcement and academics, acknowledge the lack of research but say buybacks provide an array of benefits as part of a larger strategy for getting illegal guns off the streets. These include raising public awareness of the gun problem, which can rally support for gun control laws and policies. According to Tom Riley, Executive Director of the Policy Institute at the Rutgers School of Criminal Justice in Newark, New Jersey, buybacks are done with a community partnership, in most cases with the support of community leaders and church leaders. It sends an important message as to lack of tolerance for violence in communities. Reading 2, Gun Buyback Popular but Ineffective, experts say. Critics say gun buyback ineffective in reducing violence. Researchers who have evaluated gun control strategies say buybacks, despite their popularity, are one of the least effective ways to reduce gun violence. They say targeted police patrols, intervention efforts with known criminals, and, to a lesser extent, tougher gun laws all work better than buybacks. The biggest weakness of buybacks, which offer cash or gift cards for guns, is that the firearms they use usually are insignificant when measured against the arsenal now in the hands of American citizens. The government estimates there are more than 310 million guns in America today, nearly enough to arm every man, woman, and child in the country. They make for good photo images, says Michael Scott, director of the Center for Problem-Oriented Policing based at the University of Wisconsin's Law School. But gun buyback programs recover such a small percentage of guns that it's not likely to make much impact. The small number of guns recovered isn't the problem, Scott says. Buyback programs tend to attract people who are least likely to commit crimes and to retrieve guns that are least likely to be used in crimes. Scott and others say violent criminals, the people who do most of the shooting and killing, steer clear of buyback programs unless they're trying to make some quick cash by selling a weapon they don't want anymore. That means buyback campaigns more often end up with hunting rifles or old revolvers from someone's attic than the automatic weapon from the trunk of a criminal's car. A few researchers believe buybacks may do some harm. A 1999 article in the Law and Order Journal found that some people sold guns to police during buybacks and used the money to buy new guns. Tarabak said buybacks consume thousands of dollars, most of it donated, that would be better spent on police overtime to put officers on the street, or on other law enforcement efforts that are more likely to have an impact. Supporters say buyback saves lives. Even with their shortcomings, many say buyback programs have a few things going for them. They raise awareness about a serious problem. They also rally community groups to get more involved. But they really do collect guns, an average of 30 per event. Some big city buybacks in Los Angeles and Seattle have brought in 2,000 or more guns in a single day. When Block Ministries held a buyback 2 years ago in Cincinnati, it became a neighborhood happening that involved several churches and community groups. The program netted 50 guns, most of them old pistols and rifles. Dwight Young, the director of Block Ministries, said he knows statistics show buybacks don't put a dent in serious street crime. But he said this effort is worthwhile because even if it doesn't address the big problem, it still might save a few lives. During the buyback, Young said a worried mom brought in a handgun she found in her 16-year-old daughter's purse. The girl had been holding the gun for her boyfriend when her mom discovered it. Who knows what would have been done with that, Young said. We have to assume that we deterred some kind of crime, even if statistically it doesn't show. I have to believe it's worth the time. The United States is by far the world's leader in gun-related deaths, with more than 31,000 a year. Organizers of the upcoming buybacks in Cincinnati say taking some kind of action is better than nothing. If we can save one life, if we can stop one act of violence, if we can get a gun out of one person's hands, we've made progress in the fight to end violence in our communities, said N.S. Tate, pastor of Church of the Living God in Avondale. Reading 3. Swap Guns for Gift Cards in Contra Costa County by John Marshall. When he announced the buyback program, Contra Costa County District Attorney Mark Peterson said, "It is my belief that the gun buyback program will prevent crime and possibly save lives. Many crimes are committed with handguns that are stolen in home burglaries, and many accidental discharge incidents occur in homes where unwanted guns are stored."